Our Michigan reporter, Amie Carter, was very busy in Las Vegas appearing on her state's breakout panel and then on a Courage in Cannabis panel with others with compelling stories. If you aren't familiar with that series of books, it's a series of stories about people who have overcome adversity in their lives with cannabis. Dr. Bridget Williams is the curator of the stories, which are now published in 3 volumes. Amie continues to be a powerful advocate for cannabis in her home state of Michigan and one of the founders of the Michigan Weedsters. What you may not have known is that back in 2014, Amie was a guest on the Dr. Phil show, talking about her son Jaden's challenges with autism and her decade-long fight to get him access to his prescribed medicinal cannabis and CBD in school. This past week, she tracked down Josh Kesselman, the CEO of the Raw Rolling Papers Company. That company has a company-wide focus on socially responsible capitalism. They want to set an example for the industry on just how important it is to give to the world what the plant has given back to us. So here is Amie and Josh.
I'm Amie Carter with Michigan Weedsters for this week's Michigan Cannabis Report for Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
Thinking back to when it first started, did you ever think that it would be this much fun?
Absolutely no. I had no clue. When I first started, in a way, actually, I didn't think it would be fun. My goal was to be free. I didn't want to go work to be an accountant or something really boring, selling hours of my life. When I was like 14, I had a job as a stock boy. I was getting paid $3.14 an hour. I remember it. And a big truck showed up that I had to offload by myself. And I was so upset, thinking I would gladly pay somebody else $3.14 an hour to offload that damn truck. Oh my God! So that's when I realized I was selling hours of my life, which I didn't want to do.
Yeah.
So my goal when I first got into this and really got into it in the 90s was freedom. Having fun with it, that just came naturally to me because I was so happy to be free.
Yeah.
I was telling the story yesterday how when I had my stores, I bought an ambulance that I converted to an ambivalence emotional rescue unit. And I'd drive around town flashing lights, making deliveries just because it was ridiculous. And that way I knew someone was having a party. I'd show up in the ambivalence with all the lights on, freak everybody out. And it was so much fun. So it's kind of always been like this. I believe that smoking should be fun.
Yes.
It's something we're doing for enjoyment.
Yes.
Like you find that person out there who's smoking that 2 packs a day kind of guy. He's not smoking for enjoyment. But our people here, they are smoking for enjoyment. They're smoking for the medicine. They're smoking for the benefits. If there are any, of course, they'll sue me. But we're smoking because we really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so we are lucky enough to be in this badass industry where people are smoking for good times and good experiences. I can feel it. So can you.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. So my next question is, what inspired you to do the fun, creative videos? I'm kind of thinking it's the same reason you did the ambulance.
It is sort of the same thing. Here's what happened to me. I used to try to get other people to do videos for me. And I think it was around 2011 or 12 when I realized there were stories I had to tell that no one else could tell. I had to teach them what I believe was the history of rolling papers, going way back, which is actually the history of paper. The history of rolling paper is the history of paper. It really is. So I had to go all the way back into China and this war, this Arab-Chinese war. I went to Morocco. The Moroccans brought it up into Spain. This whole thing. I'm doing this 1-hour video of telling the history of rolling papers, and I was not happy doing it. But when I was done, I realized this is great. This piece of history is now on the internet for people to see, for people to learn from, to make their own takes on it, to tell me the parts I got wrong, to do anything. And now it's actually shared, and it felt so relieving and good.
Yeah.
And then I started doing more videos, and I started enjoying them. I started being happy about doing it. Then when I would come up with ideas like how a new way to roll that hadn't been done before, a new tip rolling technique, some way to make it easier. And I was so excited to do it, and so excited to learn this new thing that it just kind of, I got happier and happier. Next thing you know, I'm giggling and laughing and dancing around the screen.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I will tell you that I can get caught up watching your videos.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll spend, quite a lot of time because I'm like wondering what the next one is. Oh, that was fun.
That's funny. I know, and then we always think we're at the end, and then we come up with something else. And it's like, hey, Josh, you haven't done a video in a while on what are you going to do if you don't have a tip? Like, I haven't done that in a while, have I? And it becomes a series of how to use a rolling paper with a tip, how to take an 8.5 sheet of paper, cut it the right way so you can feel it smooth, cut it, fold it, and make another tip out of it. All this kind of stuff. Like, I got to teach everyone everything before I'm gone. Shit, I got to get this knowledge out there. And
that's awesome.
It's fun.
I
and
love
all the stuff of putting your hands up when you cough. Like, that has saved so many people. So many people thank me for that one. And then, imagine this. You're going down the street and some guy comes running up to you across the street and be like, dude, thank you for teaching me about putting your arms up when you start coughing. That has saved my life. And you're like, bro, yes, high five, yeah. Makes you want to do another one.
Yeah.
And another one, and another one.
Yeah.
You sniff the alcohol pads, you don't puke thing. All that kind of stuff has saved so many people from pain.
Yeah.
And they get so excited when they tell me about it that it makes me want to do more of them.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great, what you bring to the community is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
I am a huge fan, and thank you so much for taking the
You're
time
welcome. Thank
with
you for
me
having
today.
me.
It was great to meet you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Hi, my name is Ian Kobe. I'm with HBI International. We are a manufacturer of products within the MYO, RYO market, make your own, roll your own. As far as our actual offerings go, we are the manufacturer and distributor of Elements, Zen, Juicy J's, and of course what I think is the greatest rolling paper in the world, which is Raw. Over the years, the market has really embraced Raw, and we're incredibly grateful for it. Our best-selling products are probably our Raw cones. They've become kind of synonymous within the cannabis industry, and honestly, we want people to be able to put their best in what we think is our best. Now, in addition to being able to cater to what we would consider manufacturing needs, we also want to make sure that the the RYO, MYO Go at Home is able to have an entire offering of products as well, whether it be flat pack papers or tips or individual cones, terpene sprays. Honestly, anything that we don't make that people want, we want to make it because we are incredibly grateful to our consumer base. We wouldn't be here without them. The thing I love about this industry is that there are so many problems to solve, so many puzzles to figure out. One of my favorite ones actually is called the Raw Loader. And the Raw Loader was born of the need to be able to get material from a rolling tray and into a cone. So Josh and I created this device here. And this was born so that...
To open it when you have a microphone.
A little bit, one-handed, but I can do it with the left. So basically, it's to scoop material, the cone slides on the end, and then you can progressively pack your cone. We think it's the quickest, easiest, and perfect way to pack one. Giving back has always been something that is incredibly important to HBI and to Raw. The truth of the matter is we've always been incredibly grateful to our customers, and we want to make sure that we're engaging in some sort of reciprocity and doing the best that we can. In this was conceived about 2 years ago, and it started because one of the things that Josh has seen with pretty much every time is his Raw Smoker Ring. We used to have a giant 20-foot cone in the booth that would smoke and light up. And we just decided, it was time to freshen it up a little bit. So came up with the idea of a hand holding a giant raw cone.
Next up on our special interviews from the conference is Chanda Macias from Woman Grow.
Hey, we're back on the floor of MJBiz Con here. We're doing our Cannabis Coast to Coast Special News Report, a wrap-up of the MJBiz Con convention here in Las Vegas, Nevada. They've been doing it for 13 years. You meet some of the most amazingly, I tell you what, I meet the most smart people I ever meet at these shows. And one of them is a doctor. And she said, oh, you don't have to call me doctor. And I said, you earned that title. Did you not, Dr. Chanda Macias?
Yes.
Said it right. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
She's from Washington, D.C. area, and it says the National Holistic Healthcare Center. We all know that cannabis was put on this earth as a plant medicine by whatever Lord God you believe in. How's that? Did I do that okay?
That's good.
Okay, good. And tell me the role that cannabis has played with your national holistic healthcare system, if you don't mind.
Oh no, it's what I'm here for. So after studying cancer for over 10 years and really focusing on the power of the plant, I thought it was important that I go back and give to the community what they needed, which was this healing medicine.
That's right. And education about the healing medicine without access to mass media. I'm so happy to have her here because that's what we want to do, is give a voice to the industry. So I'm going to guess that you're familiar with Rick Simpson oil. Am I right?
Yes, I am. That is one of the first, I would say steps into cancer treatment. But specifically, that is a good step in more of a colon cancer treatment. And I will tell you that when you think about brain cancer, you need high CBD. So what a lot of people don't know is that cannabis and the different contents of our cannabinoids is important to the treatment or the healing properties towards cancer.
And yet we as an industry still have to explain and educate and share anecdotal stories because we really are in the largest non-controlled clinical trial of a drug in history. Would you agree with that assessment?
Oh, yes. And we all practice that pretty often and to see the healing properties of it. But not only that, I think my grandmother said to me, she was like, this is not, what is that? Is that miracle marijuana you are in? And I'm like, yeah, very much so. It's not medical, it's miracle, because I see miracles happen today all the time with treating the symptoms of different ailments and conditions.
Unbelievable. And what a great thing to go to work every day and feel like you are making a difference in people's health and lives. Because whenever mom and dad used to say, when you have your health, you got everything. And it took me about 60 years to realize that they were right again. You know what I'm saying, right?
I know exactly what you're saying.
What can we do for the National Holistic Healthcare Center to help awareness of what you do?
Well, what's important is that when I started out in the medical cannabis field, I was really just struggling to learn everything as an entrepreneur. See, I had the education, but what I really lacked was the business practical knowledge. And there was a group of women. They're called Women Grow, and there's the largest network of women in the cannabis and hemp industry, and they gave me resources that I could not believe. And so with the resources of Women Grow, I've been able to maintain and have multiple operations in multiple states. So what I could say is important is your community, and I continue and to support Women Grow, and eventually became the CEO of the organization.
Oh my God, she's magical. Is this the Buy Weed from Women group? Are they involved with that?
That is one of the vendors. We sell the bags and everything.
That wasn't a competitor and someone that, no.
No, we support women.
That's right.
This is a network of women. Right. So we want to plug women-owned businesses, women-led businesses, and we want to plug our Women Grow Leadership Summit happening in February 17th and 18th.
Oh man, is she good, people, or what? Got the plug-in and everything. Dr. Chanda Macias.
Yes. Yeah, the plug is even more important because we have someone that is going to speak at our conference. Her name is Brittany Griner, and she is the 3-time gold Olympian and world NBA champion.
Does she know that I was an Emmy Award-winning sportscaster and we led our news when she got busted and we followed her for 10 months? No, you don't, but I already have your card in my pocket because I want to make sure we cover that event. Okay, and I think I told you I can get you to Dave Briggs. And of course, if he's watching, he doesn't know that yet, but that's okay because he's a pro. Dr. Chanda, thank you so much for spending a little time with us and telling us a little bit about what you do. I have so much respect.
Thank you so much for your time and all that you do. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. That's what being in the cannabis industry is all about. And we'll have more from the floor of MJBiz Con here in Las Vegas, Nevada after this. Don't go away.
This week, a federal court in Boston, Massachusetts, heard arguments that could lead to the end of cannabis prohibition. Massachusetts-based Canna Provisions, Verano Holdings, and Wise Acre Farm never got this lawsuit hearing accepted by the Supreme Court. So they are now trying to get this moved forward through the appeals process. This past summer, an appeals and a few more businesses are challenging the federal prohibition of cannabis based on its constitutionality and the Commerce Clause. We will be covering this over the next few weeks. But before you get your hopes up, there are many reports that this federal appeal will fail and never reach the Supreme Court. Now back to Vegas for MJBiz Con. PCMTV Founder Jimmy Young sat down with Conlan Keller of Bonanza Cannabis, and Jimmy found out fast that his brand has nothing to do with the old black and white TV show he used to watch 60 years ago.
I'm PCMTV Founder Jimmy Young on the floor of MJBiz Con, and I get to talk to some really interesting people. As we all know, I've done a number of these in this special. Appreciate you tuning in. Remember, after this live streamed special, that obviously is wink wink, is a look live show. We are going to be live and taking, I don't even know if they're called calls, but we're going to have an open forum of anybody who wants to join us, because we're putting the Zoom link out there, and I hope you'll stay tuned for that, because it's going to feature a lot of the people that contribute to our Cannabis Coast to Coast news on a regular basis. But let's talk about Conlan Keller. He's from the Bonanza Cannabis Company, and he's way too young to remember the Bonanza TV show like this guy used to watch on in the afternoons on black and white TV sometimes. People don't even realize it was black and white TV, right? Yeah. Conlan, thank you so much for joining us. Tell me about Bonanza Cannabis Company. And guys, we're going to do a little show and tell in a bit, so don't go anywhere. Conlan, tell me about your company.
Yeah, so I'm happy to be here. We are Bonanza Cannabis. We started Bonanza in 2018 in Colorado. We started with vape cartridges. It's really our bread and butter. I'd say that's what we're best known for. But we have a wide variety of edibles, gummies, things like that. And then since then, we've expanded into different states. We're in now New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, and we'll be in New York in about a month. So it's just grown organically since we launched, and we're very happy to be here.
Saying something facetiously here, I can't believe there's interstate commerce in cannabis.
Yeah, right? I know. Well, there's not. We set up shop in every state.
Well, no, you're a smart business person, because you can replicate the recipe with the same genetics state to state. It's a bit of a operation to make sure you get the same consistency, right?
Right, absolutely. And that's really our business model is we want, when somebody buys a Bonanza cartridge in Colorado and they like that strain, they like those terpene profile, we like them to be able to buy that same product in New Mexico and Nevada, every state, and feel like they're getting that same consistency, that same quality, and we're able to replicate it everywhere we go. And we do that from an operations standpoint as well. So that keeps it simple. We have one process, and we do it very well.
News, and I'm very proud of the fact that I've got 6 reporters here covering this event and contributing to this special, especially when I've got people like you that are so successful. Now, please, let's do our show and tell, shall we?
Yeah, so I'm just going to show you some of our...
Yeah, hang on a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Make sure you can see yourself.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Just pretend that, there's a cameraman back there with an audio crew and a lighting company. Yep. It's all about a one-man band multimedia journalism these days. Yeah. And I can tell you that as someone who's concerned about budgeting, this is a great way to actually get good quality stuff without $1 million budget.
Right. No,
or even $1,000 budget, let's just say. Yep. Go ahead. Ready? Walk me through these products.
So this is going to be, I'm going to show you one of our 1 gram
By the way,
cartridges.
Okay, is this the real thing?
This is the real thing.
Okay, I want to make sure, because now that I'm a brand ambassador for Yellow Labs, I get to put a plug in for my stuff, okay? Yep. I know that when you do a pop-up, you can't bring the product onto the table. They have to be fake products. Right? Yep. But this is going to be a show and tell of the real product, but we're not going to consume. We're not going to imbibe. We're not going to titrate.
Right. And so this is what our cartridge looks like. Our 1 gram vape. It's a unique look. It's got a wood tip on it.
Wood tip is unique. I'm not sure I've ever seen that.
Yep. Super high quality, extremely minimal fail rate on these. We invested a lot of time and money making sure that we had a product that was never going to fail. And especially coming from Colorado with altitude changes and temperature changes, we thought that was important. Our 1 gram carts, definitely our most popular product, but we also do them in half grams. We have an all-in-one, 500 milligram all-in-one. We also have a 4 gram vape. And then in New Mexico, we actually offer a 2 gram vape as well.
All right.
So a wide variety of vape products.
Okay. I want to throw you a curveball. I want you to pick up the pink lemonade gummies you have there. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I want a cannabinoid profile of what's in this, because I use a gummy every night. 5 milligrams of THC, 1 milligram of CBN, and I get 5 to 6 hours straight. And as an older person in life, it's changed my sleep pattern.
Okay. Yeah, so this pink lemonade is actually just a standard 10 milligram THC. We do offer what you were saying. We have a sleep gummy as well.
Right.
It's actually 10 milligrams of THC, 5 milligrams of CBN, and 2 milligrams of melatonin. It'll make you really, really sleep.
And don't take, just because I learned about this, okay? I'm not a fan of the melatonin in these products because I do believe you can create the effect with the minor cannabinoids.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, if it works, I'm all for it.
It absolutely works, and that's why we did it.
So weight loss and sleep are still the two biggest factors that Big Pharma is looking for. We don't want to use Big Pharma as an example. However, it's like the big brother looking over your shoulder. Am I right? Because no one in this industry knows what's going to happen in the next few months with the rescheduling, descheduling, new Congress, new leadership. We're in an unknown territory again, aren't we?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We kind of are living in our own little bubble in this industry, and we just we got to abide by the regulations they put in front of us, and try to do what we can to make the best products we can. So.
And everybody I talk to in this industry has that same message, okay? It's like, can you just give us the rules so that we can abide by those rules within those parameters? It's actually what every parent in America and the world has to do with their children, is to set boundaries. And it's one of the reasons why there's a conflict between parents and children. Are you a parent?
I am. Yeah.
One, two, how many kids?
I have
Boys?
two kids, a girl and a boy.
And how old?
My daughter is almost 3, and my son is 1.5 years.
Oh, there's a superstar in your life besides you at the trade show. Am I right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Anyway, consistency of testing in edibles has always been a first question for me, especially in the beginning of my experience, if you will, with actually properly made products.
Yep.
Okay, the testing still is an issue. You're in Colorado, New Mexico. You have to deal with different state regulations. What's the toughest state out there for regulations? Because I have certainly some knowledge about what it's like in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
But I don't really know how tough those regulations are in Colorado, New Mexico, the other states you're in. Have you guys, you have a formula that you figured out that you can replicate, right?
Yep.
Okay, good.
So, I was going to say, all of our products, we have a process and products that they're the same in every state. So the regulations state to state are all different. So there are different requirements and different tests, but they pass all the tests regardless. So it's not like, oh, it's going to pass this test in Colorado, but there's a test in Nevada that it wouldn't, or some. They all are testing for potency. There's homogeneity tests, you got microbials, metals, pesticides, all these things. And so I would say the hardest regulations, the one that is the most strict, I think, that of the market we're in right now, I believe, is probably Nevada, only because there's not as many licenses, and so they're much more, I should say, on top of making sure that everything is up to snuff. In fact, everything's approved ahead of time. All packaging changes, everything has to be approved before you use it, as opposed to like in Colorado and New Mexico and stuff. You're just, you still have to abide by regulations and warning statements and things like this, but the packaging and the products don't have to be approved before you make them. You have to make them, and then they regulate them from there. So Nevada, it just has that one extra step, as opposed to all the other states we're in. And so, all the states have testing requirements and everything, so it's not like any products are hitting the shelves without being fully tested. But
licensed products as opposed to the hemp side of things. Yep. And I would like to discuss that with you if you're okay with that.
Yep, absolutely.
Do you believe there should be one regulatory body for the plant? Tough question, but it's an important one for everybody to understand.
I just, I don't know, because it's a hard question, because who would be the regulatory body? And so with hemp being non-regulated and with it being a more widely available product, I feel like it would be tough. But I will say, when it comes to the effects of some of these cannabinoids and things you can get from hemp, you talk about like Delta 8 and stuff like this. It's tough to feel like it shouldn't be regulated, because it has psychoactive effects for sure.
Yes, it does.
And so
even if it doesn't have THC in it, CBD has psychoactive effects. It doesn't have intoxicating effects.
Right, exactly. And so I guess,
And yet humans have figured out the loophole to get high from hot hemp. I get it.
oh yeah, and there, listen, the technology exists to be able to get high from hemp and all convert now CBD to THC and all kinds of stuff. It exists. It's out there. So I mean, they're going to have to find a way to regulate it. Now, whether it should be one governing body, I honestly couldn't tell. I mean, if I had to say yes or no, I'd probably say no, only because I don't know who that would be.
You don't have trust in the leadership.
that's
You buy into the concept, but the leadership, you're still a little skeptical.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that. Yeah, there you go.
I'm glad I'm here to help you out, Conlan.
Yeah.
You've been a great host. I really appreciate what you do. And keep it going. Bonanza Cannabis, great Western show back in the day when I was young enough. And now a great cannabis product. All right, we're going to have more from the Cannabis Coast to Coast News Special Report on the floor of MJBiz Con after this.
Yeah, it's a great question because cannabis is very exciting. It's almost like, mom and pop drugstores. You could start whatever you wanted. You could be pretty successful. And then there are the business people who see the revenue potential. And those are the ones that I think they are going to become the buyers going forward. And then smaller companies will be the sellers. And then there'll be another group of like, what the heck happened? And there'll probably be some craft survivors as well. But I think, the access to capital in business, this is becoming a mature business, just like craft beer or the car industry from, the 1910s to today. Yeah, I think Schedule 3 will have radical changes. I think we're going to see consolidation in the space independent of Schedule 3. Schedule 3 will influence the flavor of the consolidation, but it's going to happen no matter what.
Will that open up more capital?
It'll open up more capital, more access. One way or another, as the industry consolidates, they're going to have to get access to capital. The buyers will, and that's going to change the markets fundamentally.